Chapter 57. It's none of your business, Vita, Rowan insists. Well, if it's none of my business, then you're not getting any of my money. Rowan and I managed to make it back to the shack's underground before I started yelling at him, which I count as an impressive show of restraint on my part, but now he's stonewalling me. Vita, we need you now more than ever. And I'll keep bringing food, I promise. But you're not getting a single coin until we talk about this. We're not talking about this until you stop assuming I'm the villain here. Rowan snaps back. I scowl. Not entirely sure how he wants to frame pissing away money at a casino as noble, but he's right. I haven't really gotten his side. Alright, I agree. But you see where I'm coming from with this? I do. And it's true that I owe the Drakens a substantial amount of money because of gambling losses. I carefully keep my face neutral, saying nothing. I assume that's not all he's going to explain, considering none of that is positive. Rowan takes my silence for the push to continue that it is. The cards aren't gambling, though, he continues. Not really. Luck is involved, but they're fundamentally games of skill. On average, over dozens of rounds, the better player is going to come out on top. And I'm better. I got cocky once, sure, but I've been steadily remaking. It's a trap, I conclude, cutting him off. What? Rowan asks. I said it's a trap. Or at least I think it is. Can't you still lose big again? What if you're being set up? It's not like they can cheat me, Rowan counters. I bet I know more tricks than they do. Besides, their whole business falls apart if they're caught cheating. Look, I promise, if I keep playing smart this is a sure thing. I scowl, not quite knowing how to handle this. I know gambling is bad mainly because of all the bums I hear telling stories about it. So many people have lost everything from gambling rings. It just seems like common sense to me that participating in one is stupid, so I'm at a bit of a loss to counter what Rowan's saying. He knows a lot more about this than I do. The only thing I know that he doesn't is. Capita is a conomancer, I tell him. That gets his attention, his eyes just about bulging out of his head. Conomancer? Are you sure? Holy shit. Oh, fuck, holy shit. They are going to drop an inquisition on us. Yeah, that sounds bad. Honestly, I'm thinking that we shouldn't tell the Templars about it. I'm kinda handling it. Rowan looks at me like I'm crazy, shaking his head. Vita, no, you can't handle a conomancer. They are crazy dangerous, they can infect anybody and no one can even tell what. I can tell, I insist. I'm a better animancer than she is. She's a natural, like I am. Although maybe not in the same way I am. Her soul is really weird, but the point is I'm confident I can stop anything she does if she tries it around me, and I can see her trying it. You're safe, Rowan. I'll make sure she can't touch you. He gives me that concerned stare of his, the one that makes it easy to see why Pinta insisted he's my dad. I guess he is, in the same way that Lynn is my mom. It's a bitter time to admit it, though. I never thought my dad would be a deadbeat. But I guess I never really thought I'd have one at all. Vita. I appreciate that you're looking out for me, he starts slowly, as if still figuring out exactly what he wants to say. What about everyone else, though? How many souls has Capita messed with? I frown, trying to mentally count them all. I don't know, I eventually conclude. A lot, I guess. Why? Are you going to protect all of them? He asks. That's kind of a weird question. Of course not. How would I even do that? So you're just going to let her keep messing with people's souls? He presses. Yeah, basically. Look, Rowan, I don't know those people, but I do know that Capital could kick my ass in a fight and chooses not to. She likes me for some reason. She's making exceptions. I'm leveraging that as best I can for my family. Also known as you. Rowan is quiet for a long time, sitting with his fingers interlaced on his lap. He stares at the floor as I glower at him, both of us unsure of where to go from here. He's just. Ugh. I don't know. I feel like Lynn gets me, even if she doesn't understand everything. She's supportive. Rowan says he loves me, And I think he does, but I don't know. He's critical of everything. It's always concerned looks, vague promises, and, hey, Rowan says, standing up. I think we started on the wrong foot today, Vita. Oh yeah. I grumble. What's the right foot? He steps over and lians down, grabbing and hugging me tightly. I stiffen with surprise. Welcome home, kiddo, Rowan says. It's been a while. I missed you. Am not a kiddo, I murmur quietly, reaching up to hug him back. But I missed you too, Dad. He chuckles, giving me another squeeze before standing back up. Oh, I'm finally Dad now? What brought this on? Just things and stuff, I dismiss, waving a hand at him. Lynn is Mom, so you've been away a long time. I'm sorry Lynn and I both missed you last week. That's okay, I say, shrugging. I was only back for a few hours before they turned my ass around to finish the genocide. Sorry, what? He asks, instantly concerned. I sigh, starting the story of my past month of life, from the Nora of Lisha village to Penta's death. Though I leave out most of what I did today, saying nothing about starting animancy experiments with Penelope or meeting a true lord. I don't know why, but I'm kind of anxious about it. The whole experience still barely feels real, as excited as I am to use my talent more. Plus, I just think, well, Rowan wouldn't approve, right? Maybe he would, but I'm afraid to find out. I will tell him about what happened with Capita, though. So, how do you feel? I ask. He raises an eyebrow. Fine, I guess. How do you feel about the Drakens? Pissed and a little freaked out. I go, wait, shit. Vita did they? Yup, I say. Capita did something to you and Lynn. Back when you joined, I think? She implied it made you afraid of her or Sky or something. I just had her undo it. So do you feel any different? Well, I just learned she's a fucking conomancer, Vita, Rowan grumbles. So believe it or not, I'm still scared of the lady. What about during that stupid card game? I ask. Or when we were working home? I don't know. I might have been less scared than usual. She started annoying me more than anything for a while there. Alright, I concede, not really sure what that means. Well, the point is, she undid what she did and won't fuck with you anymore. Also, I'm still not giving you any money until you stop gambling. WH, Vita. And I'm telling Lynn. Vita, don't you dare. I snort. Or what? She needs to know. I just committed genocide. You think I'm going to bucket tattling to Mom? Rowan pauses, his mounting fury suddenly evaporating. Vita. You didn't commit genocide, he insists. I raise an eyebrow. Pretty sure I literally did. Nora are people, they were forming a culture, and I slaughtered them wholesale. How is that not genocide? He shakes his head, placing a hand on my shoulder. You can't think of it that way, Vita. You killed a lot of people, sure. But you did it to save the people that were being victimized. You were a hero that saved a whole town from a fate worse than death. I shrug. It's an empty distinction, as far as I'm concerned. I always feel the souls of the Nora inside me, tempting my hunger. They make me wonder. What would happen to my revenants if I die? Would they die and fall apart? Or would they keep living, free from having a master at all? I suspect they would. Other than loyalty, they have no particular tie to me. The shard I use to give them life doesn't stay connected to my soul. They would be okay without me. Would I, one day, be slain not by a monster, not by a zealot, not by a gang of bigots or criminals but by a hero? A savior to the likes of Theodora, someone just there to free those I've made victims. If I am killed by such a person, will Rowan smile and reassure them that it was the right thing to do? Why am I more afraid of Rowan's disapproval than I am of making victims in the first place? Rowan, I murmur. I think the Mist Watcher eats people when they die. He blinks with confusion. What? Why? I've seen it, I answer. I see it all the time now, with my third eye. And? I saw it when I looked over the edge. My body and soul both shudder at the memory, the overwhelming majesty of it, the incomprehensible mass, the mist-watcher's soul. I murmur, my voice a quiet monotone as emotions fail to properly form in the memory of what I'm describing. Has tentacles like I do. Or something like its soul does, anyway. But while its body has eyes, the soul has mouths. It reaches those tentacles up to everyone that dies. Then it brings them back down, sometimes in broken shards, and I trail off, unable or perhaps merely unwilling to describe the sensation of shattering, digesting, obliterating a person. I just wordlessly clench my hand into a fist. Crunch. So, what does that mean, Vita? Rowan asks, his face a mix of skepticism and curiosity. What if I don't prevent the afterlife? I say. What if being a revenant is the only afterlife there is? He's quiet for a long time, eyes distant. Rowan has and always will be a thinker, perhaps an overthinker. I'm sure he trusts I believe what I say. But does he trust I'm right? We don't really have any way to know, he says eventually. I feel like I know, I feel the certainty burning inside, but before I can protest the hatch above us opens, Lynn quickly hopping down. Hey, you two. She grins, running over to yank us both into a group hug. How have you guys been? Lynn. Hey, you're home early. Rowan comments with a bit of forced cheer. I just grin, squeezing each of them with one arm while I wrapped some tentacles around Lynn's soul. Ah, I love hers. It's my favorite. So warm. I'll let Rowan have soul hugs when he stops gambling like an idiot. Yeah. Lynn answers happily. They said I earned some time off. Isn't that awesome? I scour my vision across the inside of my mother's soul, looking as quickly as I could for the telltale purple scar. Nothing. There's no signs of tempering. I double-check and triple-check, focusing on the infinite pathways of her soul as I make absolutely, completely sure there are no foreign elements. Vita? Honey? Hey, you still in there, kiddo? Am not a kiddo, I respond automatically, pulling my attention back to the physical world where Lynn is trying to peel herself out of the hug. Have you seen Capita today, Lynn? Instantly, her eyes go wide, consumed by fear. How do you know that name? Did she come after you? Vita, are you okay, have you? I'm fine, I say, cutting her off. Why is she still scared? Have you seen her? Yes or no? No. Lynn insists. No, thank fuck no. What the fuck? But I don't see any problems with her. Oh, damn it. I cannot heal that which is scarred over. That's what Capita said, but what the hell does it mean? I grab Lynn again and squeeze her even tighter. I've never seen her this afraid of anything before. There's nothing I can do about it yet, though. Not until I understand more. Whoa, hey. It's okay, I'm here, I'm fine. Lynn assures me, rubbing the top of my head as I bury my face in her chest. 3 things to tell you, I murmur. Oh yeah? She asks. 1. Rowan's addicted to gambling. Beat him up for me. I am not. 2. The scary lady is a conomancer. But I'll protect you, okay? Vita. What? Lynn murmurs. Hey, you don't. 3. Can you steal me some metal? I need it for stuff. Lynn turns her head, raising an eyebrow at Rowan for a moment before turning back to me. What the heck do you need metal for, kiddo? I mean, I guess you know by now how big of a thing you're asking for, right? Yeah, I say. I think I'm gonna need it to not get caught and killed by Templars. Lynn nods. Well. In that case. I'm sure I can scrounge something up for you. I smile. I have the best mom, and I won't tolerate a single bad thing being done to her. Not from anyone. Chapter 58. Be careful with that flower, Lark, the Claretta tells me. If you squeeze it that hard, it's going to die. I loosen my grip immediately, a growl of worry escaping from under my breath. Sure enough, the bright blue petals have crumpled under my grip. I try to smooth one out, only to end up ripping it off. Screeching in fury, I tear the flower to shreds. Lark. Lark, no, Don't do that. We still could have saved it. No what? I snap at her. Broken. Other flowers. Can get, carry better. Find one less weak. You mean I don't want to, the Claretta corrects. There are other flowers. I can get them and carry them better. And Clark, that's no reason to rip apart the one you already have. Pretty thing's too fragile, I growl, glaring over at her. I distinctly don't glare over in the Fulvia's direction. The creature I formerly just thought of as the loud one has not been loud for quite some time. It went to sleep 4 sky grounds ago, or nights, I suppose the term is, and hasn't woken up since. It's breathing shallow. The Claretta insists it will die if I continue feeding on it. It and the Claretta are still both bound in my webs, stuck on their backs next to the lake I water them with. Steadily, the Claretta regrows both of their limbs, but I haven't eaten either of them since. It's stupid of me. I should at least be eating the Claretta. Yet whenever she goes to sleep, I start to worry. What if she doesn't wake up again? She has been steadily teaching me more and more language, more songs, more everything. She speaks of other humans, their culture and their stories, their lives and their journeys. I don't understand most of it, but her talks enrapture me all the same. There is nothing else like the Claretta. If she breaks, I won't have any more. Not like this flower, not like the Fulvia or the other humans I've eaten. There is only one Claretta, and I will never let her go. She's asked about that before. Asked me to let her heal, to release her and her friend. I did not understand her words at first, and now I simply don't understand why she'd ask. Of course not. Of course I won't. Why would I ever do that? She's special. And if she weren't special, I'd content myself with the fact that she's delicious. I huff off and gather more flowers, carefully using my forearms to dig out the dirt around them. All of my cotton fell off weeks ago, and I could walk on 2 legs without trouble now. I even started growing the weird strands of soft stuff out of the top of my head, though unlike my meals mine is as pitch black as the rest of my body. It keeps getting in front of my face and being annoying. The Claretta suggested cutting it, but I don't at all like that idea. It's part of my body. Why would I just remove it? Hell, let me grow back my arms, she had bargained. I'll teach you how to braid it. Then it will never get in your face again. I told her no, but the longer my hair gets the more it tempts me. I fuss with pushing it behind my ears with one arm as the other 3 carefully, gently, carry the flowers back to where I keep the Claretta. Setting them carefully in the holes I dug around her, I ignore the annoying, regretful feeling that wells up inside me whenever I look at the shredded remains of the flower I had before. It's fine. It doesn't matter. These flowers are just as beautiful. A nearby thread twitches and goes slack, stealing my attention. That one is linked to the outside of my territory. Something just blundered in. I smile. If it moves, it's food. Dinner time, I announce happily. Ugh, the Claretta groans. I really wish you'd learn to cook. I'm not really made to eat raw meat all the time. I scoff. This again. You say make fire. Tried. Just burn and hurt. Why put food in? You're not supposed to touch the fire, Lark. You just cook the food with it. I shudder and shake my head. Fire is beautiful, yet it's frightening and terrible as well. I didn't realize beauty could hurt so much. The Claretta had warned me, she had told me it was dangerous, made me do all sorts of silly things like dig a pit and clear the surroundings before making one, warning me that stray flames could spread if I didn't. When I first made a fire, I didn't realize why it would be a problem. Then I tried to hold it, and now I definitely understand. I had to eat a lot to grow my skin back. Never again. Having skin is weird. It's terrible for fighting, and very often do I miss my chitin. What it's good at, though, is feeling things. Textures, temperatures, pressures. Everything I touch is so much more detailed now, so much more interesting. I keep trying to put my hands on everything, which often gets me into trouble. The fire is just a particularly bad example. Be shush. No fire. I go. Goodbye, Lark. I turn back towards my favorite food, the corners of my mouth tugging upwards for some reason. I'm not sure what it means. I've never seen the Claretta make a similar expression. Goodbye, Claretta. See you soon. I shift down to all 6 limbs and prowl towards where the thread must have been broken. While I can walk on 2 legs and usually do, it just doesn't feel natural for hunting. I've set up hundreds of thin lines around my territory, linking them back to where I keep the Claretta and Fulvia. I refuse to let any prey anywhere near them. They're mine. What I find when I approach the spot where my threads have broken, however, is not just any prey. It's more humans. More and more nest weaver threads here. Way too many. If a low combat team hit a broodmother, it's no surprise they got wiped. The voice is soft and deep, almost too quiet for me to hear. And my hearing is very good. I halt moving immediately, sinking down in deep brush as I strain my ears to listen to what I now know to expect, a conversation. I don't think it's nest weavers, another deep voice answers, more like the Ivan and Bull drag had sounded than the Fulvia or Claretta. We had reports from the other egg sites about black-skinned hybrid creatures, yeah. And remember the pitch-dark thorn hunter we had to put down? It's the same shit here. No broodmother, or third voice whispers, this one lighter and softer. But maybe something that ate a broodmother. That's what I'm thinking, yeah. Look, the body in these webs isn't dissolved at all, it's only been bit. A nest weaver didn't kill this. These humans are smart. Should I just eat them entirely or capture them? I almost approach to see how they react, but then I remember, humans can hit things from far away. I'll have to be a lot more careful. I'll capture what I can, but I'll just kill them if they're too dangerous. Right. Well, let's assume we're up against something at least on the level of the broodmother and tread carefully. Be ready to burn webs at a moment's notice, Mateo. Can do. Nobody jostle me. Burn? As in what fire did? Okay, I'm probably just killing that one. Slowly, carefully, I creep forward, tracking my prey by the soft sound of their footfalls in the underbrush. Before I'm even close to them, though, they stop moving. Something's approaching, the first human says. Mid-dangerous. Oh. Interesting. The last set of humans had called me mid-weak. I smirk a little at the change, though I'm not really happy about it. Pretending to be weak is a good hunting strategy to lure opportunistic prey. Perhaps more importantly, how are they determining how strong I am? I can usually determine strength by how tasty something smells. Stronger things taste better. Except sometimes when they don't, like the Fulvia and Claretta. They tasted super good, but were far from the hardest things to kill that I've eaten. Dangerous and powerful, certainly, but with too many apparent weak points. Just a single bite in the right spot would cripple them until the Claretta sang the wound away. For now, I'll assume these humans will work the same way. Though as I start to creep forward, I have a rather silly thought. These humans know I'm here. I know they know I'm here. Why am I sneaking? Why not just go say hi? It's not like it will make them any more likely to try and kill me. I stand back up, walking on 2 legs as I approach the humans at a casual pace. They murmur a few things at each other, but before I get in sight I call out. Hello. The fuck? A human whispers. That sounded like a girl, another one agrees. Mimicry-based monster? I'm not monster, I tell them. I'm Lark. Lark? The woman asks. Is that your name? Yep. I confirm. His good name. What your names? There's a brief pause as the humans struggle to decide on an answer. How about you come out where we can see you, Lark? The one I think is Mateo requests. I giggle. We'll later. Only 3 of you? Or are more, but quieter? I start weaving some thicker webs, then circle around planting strong strands around ankle height, hidden in the brush. What are you doing out here, Lark? The nameless male asks. What mean? I ask, a bit confused by the question. I've always been here, at least since I found the pond. It's a dangerous place for a person to be, he answers, an odd quirk to his tone that I don't understand. I finish setting another tripwire, peeking one eye out of the brush. I do see only 3 humans, 2 of them holding long, artificial weapons in what would otherwise be weak, clawless hands. I hadn't really thought about it before, but perhaps I should do the same. No, there's no need. Unlike humans, I have my teeth. Yet you hear, I point out, licking my lips in anticipation. They immediately turn my way, but my perfectly black eye is not so easy to spot in the darkness of the thick brush. All 3 of them are on full guard, ready to attack or defend themselves in an instant. I can try to get behind them, but since they have a good idea of my position even when they can't see me, I doubt circling around will let me attack by surprise. Yet we are here, the same human agrees. We are hunters. Do you know what hunters are? I grin. Yes. Hunters. Fight monsters, make forests safer for human. Good. Heroes. Like Claretta. That seems to surprise them, even relax them a little. Only a little. Alan, Claretta is one of the missing names, the Mateo starts. Yes, I know, the one I had been talking to agrees. The Alan, apparently. Do you know Claretta? Is she alive? Yes. I confirm happily. Claretta is good. Beautiful one. Very alive. When you saw her, was she with anyone? Do you know where they are now? Yes and yes. Claretta, Fulvia, alive. Ivan, Boldrag, dead. Nowhere are. The human's eyes go wide, tracking my voice as I finish setting up my webs. They look happy about something, though still just as ready to fight if needed. Lark, will you take us to them? I stretch my starving body, stepping out from the brush. Yes, I hiss, grinning with my full mouth of black, curved teeth. You join them. Weapons point my way instantly, but I pick my spot carefully, the longest sight line between us, where even their extra long pointy object would not come close to reaching. If they shoot a projectile from there, which they might, I'm confident I can dodge it. Holy fucking shit, the Mateo hisses. It's one of the things from Hiveric, the Alan says immediately. It looks like a child, the last, yet unnamed human breathes. She looks human. If you don't count the extra arms, yeah, the Alan agrees. Or the skin. Or the teeth. So why does it look human? That's kind of a stupid question. I figured that out ages ago. Because I eat humans, I explain. Mateo's hand shoots out to point at me and I think I know what to expect. A projectile, something to dodge. I'm not wrong, exactly, but rather than the arrow or pellet I assume I'm avoiding, a gout of fire bigger than I am incinerates everything in my vision as it blasts towards me at incredible speed. I'm already mid-motion to dodge, hurling myself into the brush on the right, but there's just nothing I can do to avoid the blistering heat completely. The whole left side of my body nearly gets seared off, 2 of my arms boiling under the intense flames. Pain screams through me, but I'm hardly a stranger to it. I've been bitten worse minutes after being born. Wasting no time, I turn and sprint away into cover, dashing as fast as I can deeper into the forest. These humans are no fools, though, and they do not rush after me into my prepared traps. Content to whittle me down, perhaps? I've certainly done something similar a few times. I grin, giddily hoping that's their strategy as my tiny legs finally make enough distance between myself and the dangerous prey I've set my sights on. All around my territory, suspended in webs, are still living victims of my numerous traps. I devour a few eagerly, relishing the joy of both the swallowed food and the burnt flesh slewing off my arms, soon replaced by fresh, gleaming black skin. I flex my newly formed hands, testing my spinneret glands as I rack my brain for a solution. If that fire, I hate fire, had hit me straight on, I would certainly be dead. More annoyingly, it also burns right through my webs. It is a problem. The Mateo human is not to be captured or savored. I'm killing it as soon as I'm able. Disappointing, but maybe I can still tie up the other 2 and take them to the Claretta for proper feasting. The question is how. How do I get close enough to bite them without getting my teeth burned off? Maybe I don't? Another smile tugs at my lips. I have a few plans, and ultimately as long as I keep them in my territory and away from the Claretta, I will eventually win. Or so I thought. Hours later, my frustration increasingly mounting, I realize my mistake. They are all problems. I try to trick the fire one into burning webs that hold up heavy objects, and another one of them just blocks or smashes the stones. I try to trick one of them into a pit, and it just jumps out. All three of them are substantially more powerful than the 4 other humans I faced prior, and they all work together despite how different they are. Worst of all, they are slowly but surely making it towards my sanctuary. My flowers. My pond. My Claretta. I'm running out of stored food, and I'm running out of options. Really, I only have one option left that I think will work. I am frightened. But beauty is fragile. So she must be protected. I skirt the edges of my foes' perceptions, having learned the range of their ability to sense or hear. I pretend to construct a trap, heart pounding as I feel them get closer. When they are just barely closer than where I feel safe, I flee. I run away from my territory, heading outside my zone of safety. There, I start to prepare again, until the humans catch me once more. They move slow, oh so slow. They seem content hunting in safety, taking their time to methodically clear out their way before they advance. Like the last humans, they are cautious. Like the last humans, they will die not to my cleverness at all. Only raw strength will defeat them. Further and further, deeper and deeper, they follow me. I have been hounding them restlessly since the start of the day and they want me gone, but they are not fools. They will not follow me all the way where I lead. Yet they don't need to. From far away, my nose picks up the most incredible, most exquisite meal imaginable, and I head towards it. My key. My prize. The great, impossible death awaiting my prey. I slink silently through the forest until I finally behold it. The greatest of my kin. I am the others born from our dark eggs started small. I am still small, my full height not even reaching the waist of many humans. As a result, I hunt small things. I am no mindless slave to hunger like the others of my kind. I do not send myself slobbering in the direction of everything that smells of a meal, no matter the odds of success. I am patient. I am smart. I do not, to use an amusing phrase from the Claretta, bite off more than I can chew. To do so would be to court death. Yet some of my kin. They have courted death. And they have won. Before me is a black beast of unfathomable proportions. Slender and long, the incontestable god my sibling has become sports 4 lizard-like legs, each so large I could use one as a bed. Across its scaled body sprout whip-like tendrils, each tipped with a brutal hooked spine, serrated in a way to stab into a target and hold them inescapably as they are fed to the pointed, black-toothed maw. It nests in a pile of splintered trees, bowled over to make this clearing to rest in. I could bite this beast 1,000 times and not even be close to ending its life. My instincts scream with me to consume it anyway, completely uncaring of my inevitable death. Rather than outright ignore them, I scream back. The truest of all death's wakes. I turn and I run back towards the humans. They have avoided most of my traps, though far from all. They could turn and run away, likely outpacing me but losing the slow, careful caution that has been their best ally. They do not do this. As I hear them shout their warnings and prepare their weapons, they do not run. I don't even have to get close to the humans. As soon as my kin smells them, it changes course to eat them instead of me. I leap atop the tallest tree I can find, watching and waiting for the death of my prey. That's a fucking big one. The Mateo hisses, his fingers moving in a blur. Nita? Yeah, I got the legs, the soft-voiced human answers, drawing a bow not unlike the one the Claretta had used. The human takes a deep breath, the wind around me shifting towards her as she does. I cock my head to the side, watching with amusement. What does a human think a dinky arrow will do to? A crack sounds out through the forest as the human releases the bowstring. Splatters of black blood eject from 2 of my kin's legs at once, a hole bored in a straight line through each. My invincible kin stumbles and falls, but its tendrils strike like snakes towards the trio without hesitation. They are dismembered in a flash, the pointed tips separated by the Allen's blade. "You got the time, Matteo?" The Allen snaps. Like 30 seconds. Just don't let it get up." Yeah, the Netta grumbles, knocking and drawing another arrow, air moving towards her again. I don't wait and watch to see what happens. Scampering down the tree, I run. I run as fast as I can, back to home, back to the Claretta. We have to leave. The humans are the death of death itself. Another crack sounds behind me as I flee, breath and muscles burning. How had I not already been killed? How am I even still alive? A wave of frigid cold and boiling heat bite into my skin one after the other, followed by a shock wave that nearly knocks me over from behind. I don't stop to think about what that means. I need to get the Claretta. "Lark?" the beautiful one asks, hearing me sprint into our clearing by the pond. I grab her, rolling her to the water. "Drink." We go. I give her a few seconds to lap up water before pulling her out, up onto my back so I can drag her as fast as possible. I don't know the next chance I'll have to water her. I spare a longing glance at the Fulvia, hesitating only a moment before I dash away as fast as I'm able, heedless of anything in the way. That one is broken anyway. I handled it too firmly. "Lark? Lark. What's going on?" "Death," I hiss. "Humans of death." I curse myself for not biting off the Claretta's regrowing limb nubs earlier, every bit of extra weight making a difference here. "Humans?" the Claretta asks. "Yes. Bad. Too strong, no eat." The Claretta starts to scream, as loudly and as desperately as she can muster. I almost smack her in the head. I know the humans are frightening, but if she keeps it up she's going to tell them exactly where we are. I pump my arms and legs harder, sprinting on four limbs as I use two to hold the beautiful one to my back. I don't know how long it is before I finally collapse, exhausted and starving, in some foreign part of the forest I've never before seen. Anything could be here. Any danger. Yet at least it won't be those horrifying humans. I can no longer smell them at all. A day passes as I scout for water, set traps, begin carving out a safe territory for the Claretta and I to survive in. No humans come to us. Another day later, I carefully retrace my steps to where I left the Fulvia in desperation. My meal and prize is gone, no corpse or bones left. The humans took it. I grit my teeth in fury, hatred and fear twisting within me. What if they come back? What if they come for the Claretta next? At least they left the flowers intact. I gingerly extract them from the ground, holding the clods of dirt in which their roots reside delicately as I return to my new home. What can I do? What can I do? I think about it the entire trip back, and return home without a single answer. Chapter 59. A little under a week later, Lynn scrounges up a little over 2 pounds of metal, and I just about faint. You could make a national treasure with this, if you knew a blacksmith. Of course, I don't know a blacksmith. Not counting apprentices, I think there's only 2 in the whole city, and both work directly for the king. I have no idea where Lynn got this, and I don't plan on asking. The metal is worked into a thin, squarish slab which I have opted to hide underneath my armor as I nervously transport it across the city to Theodora and Marguerite. To even see that I have the metal at all, someone would have to undo my entire outfit. Stealing it should be impossible. Noticing it should be just as impossible, and yet I'm filled with heart-hammering stress for the entire walk. Most nobles would struggle to buy this much metal, let alone get the authorization to own it in the first place. Lynn just gave it to me, no questions asked. Which is not to say there were no questions answered. I told her about working for Penelope and what we were doing together. Revenants, immortality research, my fear that the Mistwatcher consumes and destroys us after death. We talked about a lot. My musclehead mom was all sorts of excited, concerned, and confused by the things I told her, which I think is what convinced her to go the extra mile. Regardless, I have an insane amount of metal now and I need to deliver it safely. That means no detours and no risks, A promise to myself that I almost immediately break when I feel someone die within the range of my soul sense. I've been getting increasingly spooked about my theory that there is no afterlife, and as a result I've taken to collecting as many human souls as I can, at least when they happen to die nearby. Not eating them, not making them revenants, just storing them. It seems like the right thing to do. Besides, it feels quite nice having so many souls floating around inside me. I'm afraid I'll eventually run out of room, though, and signs are pointing to that being very possible. Souls don't really take up space the same way everything else does, but they really seem to hate being in the same spot as one another. Sooner or later, they aren't going to fit, and then I'll have to figure out what to do with them all. I breathe a sigh of relief as the dead soul I've been sensing comes into view. It's far from the only soul nearby, but it looks like I'm not interposing myself into the middle of a fight. A group of homeless beggars sit together in an alleyway, some chatting softly while others rest. The corpse is an older man, his clothes tattered and body thin. He seems to have died in his sleep, perhaps to starvation, perhaps to disease, or perhaps to a wound he foolishly kept hidden. I have no way to know and no reason to care. Walking down the alleyway like I own it, I scoop up the soul with a tentacle as I pass by and continue on my way. I don't think any of the others in the group realize he is dead, and I don't bother to inform them. They'll find out soon enough, and I don't want to be connected with the event when they do. With that detour out of the way, I eventually make it to Penelope's research building, letting myself in with my key. It's the first time I've ever even owned a key, but I'm not worried about it. I'm hardly in the habit of losing track of anything that's mine. I've kept Roscoe safe for around a decade. The basement door is locked and designed in such a way that opening it is exceptionally loud. This serves as an early warning sign for our revenants to hide themselves in case someone unexpected comes snooping. I feel them move to do so, hopping into action and hiding in the alcoves we prepared in advance as I head down the stairs. Opening the last door into our workshop proper, I need only wait for a single beat of silence before my favorite revenant drops from her hiding spot above the door. Mom. Vitamin cheers, nearly knocking the wind out of me as I quickly turn to catch her. You're back. We missed you. I give her a big squeeze, tickling her soul enough to elicit a giggling fit. Sorry, Vitamin. I say, ending the hug by tossing her lightly into the air. She produces a happy shriek, doing a flip before landing on her feet. I've been busy training. The Hunters Guild has really been putting us through the paces this week. A bunch of teams have gone missing since those Vigor orbs dropped, so you should just quit the Hunters Guild, Marguerite opines, emerging from the freezer room where Penelope stored the corpses before they were people. The former Nora woman is still in an old man's body, Penelope having decided to wait before buying too many corpses at once. I can't say I disapprove of the caution, though according to Penelope the Revenant has been increasingly irritable as time goes on. Except when she is around me. I'm not quitting the Hunters Guild, I insist. Hunting monsters is my best source of souls, and I need to be stronger. I know. Just stay safe, please, Marguerite demands, looking away with a scowl. If you die, my whole family dies with you. I tap my chest. They are safe, don't worry. I don't plan on biting off more than I can chew. She snorts. Neither did I mean it. I don't know what I'd do if something happened to you, Vita. Anyway. Theodora, get out here. She won't bite. I start undoing the straps on my armor as Theodora emerges from her hiding spot, her face a disturbing mix of awe and terror that sets me on edge. The shard I put within each of the revenants fused to their soul, and as time goes on that fusion becomes more and more seamless. I can't even tell what parts one added to Vitamin anymore. There is no real distinction between her soul and my shard that remains. Likewise, the shard I put in Marguerite is close to indistinguishable, only pulsing when I give her orders. Which I've hardly had any need or cause to do. Theodora's soul is not so seamlessly mixed. She's both cognizant and firmly resistant to my temperings, my soul shard integrating with her very slowly. It's integrating nonetheless, however, and every time I've come to visit her she has been less confrontational. Vita, Theodora greets me, nodding slightly. I nod back, stripping off my armor to pull out the metal slab I've lugged all this way. Hey, Theodora. I finally got what you needed. Is this enough? Her eyes go wide and she staggers over to me so quickly she almost trips. She grabs the precious mineral from my hands, holding it reverently. Marguerite crowds around as well, letting out a low whistle. Holy shit. How did you get this much? She asks. This will be plenty, Vita, Theodora breathes, clearly in a bit of shock. I could have made do with a bare fraction of this, but, well, we'll certainly be able to keep ourselves safe from detection now. Margaret, shall we? Yeah. Marguerite agrees. You dust what we need, I'll prep the rest of the mixture. I smile a little, happy to see them getting along. I doubt Theodora is completely cured of trauma or anything, but the two of them have plenty to bond over and, for obvious reasons, plenty in common. They both seem to genuinely enjoy the research as well. What are you guys doing? I ask as Theodora starts casting a spell. She points a finger towards the metal and shears off a small corner of it, disintegrating it to barely visible filings. We're making ink, she answers. Metal-infused ink. It's the same principle behind my tattoos, but we can apply them to the building itself. So we'll be safe. As safe from magical detection as any place really can be, Theodora confirms. Though none of this will stop people from just walking through the front door, if they're suspicious. I can still feel what goes on down here when I'm outside, though. You're an animancer, Theodora answers dismissively. We don't have any idea how animancy works yet. But we will. Until then, as long as there aren't any animancers willing to tell the church about us, we should be fine. When I say we're safe from magical detection, I mean we're safe from detection of magic. No one will be able to tell we're casting spells down here, and that's the important part. Well, that's really good then. And it looks like we have a lot of extra metal. We'll have an insane amount of extra metal, Marguerite confirms. Enough to experiment quite a bit with. This is really, really great, Vita. Again, how did you even get this? Grandma's a famous metal thief, Vitamin answers, peering over curiously as the two metamancers work. She's the coolest. Speaking of experiments, I was wondering if we could try something, Mom. I turn her way, raising an eyebrow. Oh yeah. What's up? What if you gave me more of your soul shards? Oh. That's an interesting idea. Some part of me thinks it's doable, but I'm a little worried about that messing with your head more than necessary, Vitamin. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, she agrees, holding her arms up at me until I lift her onto my shoulders. But you know how when you eat soul stuff, you kinda dissolve it first? It's just raw power at that point, it doesn't hold any aspect of the original soul's personality or temperament or whatever. I'm thinking, what if you mom a bird for me? Chew a bit, then barf into my spirit. Huh? Would that work? The question would be whether or not I can apply it to a soul that's already in a body. No, that's not the question. Vitamin is my revenant. I can just take her out of that body, mess with her soul there, then put it back. I think it might work, but do you really want to risk it? I ask. She shrugs. If we mess up and I end up becoming more like you, that's still a win in my book. You're the best. Oh, she's just so cute. Welp, time to rip her soul out. I pick Vitamin up off my shoulders to hold her like a baby, reaching in a tentacle to remove her. Her body goes limp. Meanwhile, I pull a shard out of my own soul like I would when making a revenant. It feels like such a natural process to me I barely even question it most of the time, but for curiosity's sake I stare inward at my soul as I do it. Like other people, the inside of my soul's core is a complex maze, snaking off in directions alien to my normal senses. Unlike other people, I seem to have a few sections of my soul that lack any such complexity. There, the mind-boggling pathways and structures are instead a single pattern, complex but all-pervasive as it repeats through a massive extra concentrated soul stuff. It's from this part of my spirit that I take shards, and as soon as I do my soul fills in the gap without issue. Rather than stick the shard in whole, though, I crush it to pieces, destroying it as if I was planning to reintegrate it into myself. Instead, I let Vitamin's soul absorb it, and to my surprise it does so, quite greedily. Just to test again I crush another shard and try to feed it to a non-revenant soul, but as I suspected it doesn't take. So revenants can absorb soul power too? Or just my revenants? Either way, Vitamin's soul gets a bit less mini, and when I put her back into her body she grins, flexing her thin, pale figure. Hey, I feel better. Did it work? It did, yeah, I confirm. The power doesn't come from nowhere, but it's handy to know. I haven't been spending my time doing nothing, you know, Vitamin says, hopping down from my arms. I've been training too. But no matter what I do, my soul doesn't grow like Remus's memories say it should. Oh, so she does have Remus's memories. I'm not sure if I should ask about it. Penta was always cagey about Penelope's memories, and I always got the impression it was for reasons beyond not wanting to piss Penelope off by sharing them. Still, I'll see if I can steal some of her training tips. Has your soul been growing at all? I ask. Not that I can tell. I frown, moving my attention deep inside her spirit. She's right. If anything, her soul might have gotten a little smaller before I added a bit to it. Not much, but a little. I look at Theodora and Marguerite as well, and sure enough they both seem ever so slightly weaker than the last time I was here. It's not enough that I would have noticed without looking for it, but it's definitely there. Shit, I murmur. You guys degrade. Marguerite looks up with surprise while Theodora grimaces. I was afraid of that, the tattooed woman grumbles. It wouldn't make sense if we didn't. We don't eat, we don't drink. Where's the energy that sustains our bodies coming from? The only things I can think of that could be powering us are ambient magical energy from the air, which we don't seem to be absorbing at all, or we're burning our own souls. Vitamin and Marguerite share a concerned look. Nora burned their souls for energy when outside a body, but we degraded much faster when we were alive. Surely there's something else to it. Perhaps whatever Vita does to us is simply more efficient than how the Nora were made, Theodora hypothesizes. If the theory that you were artificial bioweapons is true, it could be a failure of your creator, or even an outright intentional design flaw. That's a good point, Marguerite murmurs. Plus, revenants can be naturally occurring, and they don't degrade as quickly as Nora do. Although they also try to kill every living thing they come across, so perhaps their situation isn't one-to-one applicable to ours. Maybe revenants kill to stay alive, I point out. If your souls are constantly degrading, and the way to fix that is with more soul stuff, well, the solution is to go out and find some souls. And do what with them? Can natural revenants digest like you can? Vitamin asks. I'm pretty sure we can't. So how would they eat the souls? We're all silent for a while as the questions sink in. It's a bit unsettling how little I understand my own abilities, but I suppose that's part of why we made this place. Well, I'm definitely not leaving the Hunters Guild, I grumble. I've got to feed all of you now. The good news is that you don't seem to degrade very fast. It's been a week and I wouldn't have even noticed if Vitamin hadn't made me look for it. You want me to give you all a little extra for now? Yes, please, Marguerite answers immediately. No thank you, Theodora murmurs. I frown at her as I prep a shard for Marguerite. You sure? You're going to have to eat eventually. She shakes her head. We shouldn't just assume that. We'll do this properly. I'll volunteer to see what happens if we don't eat. It's pretty obvious that Theodora just doesn't want me to stick any more animancy voodoo inside her, but I nod anyway. She does have a point. I grab Marguerite and quickly rip her soul out, sprinkling crushed shard on it like a rich asshole tossing crumbs to pigeons before chucking her back in her body. She blinks, slightly frazzled. I guess I probably should have warned her first. Anyway, there's your medal, ladies, I say, grabbing my armor and starting to put it back on. Marguerite quickly scurries over to help me with it. I never asked for that, but... well, I guess I don't mind. I let her do it. Do any of you know where Penelope is? I think she went back to the Hunters Guild earlier, Marguerite answers, finishing up the last few straps. That's my destination, then. I give Vitamin one last goodbye squeeze and soul tickle before returning up the stairs, triple-checking that everything is locked up. The walk back to the guild from here is long and boring. I think Penelope has ended up skipping it more than once, just sleeping with the revenants as they experimented long into the night. It turns out that revenants never feel any desire to sleep, but they could if they choose, sending their soul into a state of stasis not unlike how they are when trapped inside my body. Eventually, however, I approach the Hunters Guild, and I'm immediately worried. I feel Penelope's soul in the medical ward rather than our room, and she is surrounded by 3 Remus-level hunters. Another soul that I assume to be the patient is next to her, and it gives me the shivers. I hurry inside, quickly confirming my suspicions. 3 worried-looking hunters surround Penelope as she treats a near-skeletal young woman who happens to be missing all 4 of her limbs and most of her soul. Most of her soul. I've never seen anything like it. What should be a round sphere has been reduced to jagged, craggy chunks, each barely hanging on to each other. How is this woman even alive? I can see how her soul is supposed to look, the present bits hinting at the whole like a half-finished puzzle. This was once a bright red soul with the force of a pounding waterfall. Now it's dark and barely a trickle, so weak that one of my starving siblings would be a better meal. Even if it was incredibly strong, however, the way it's been mutilated. It disturbs me in a way that even her quadriplegia can't match. I approach. I can't help myself. It's the kind of horror I can't look away from. One of the super-strong hunters lifts a hand, barring my advance. He's a tall man with a sword on his hip, reminding me somewhat of a much younger version of Remus. Please stay back, miss, he says. Don't crowd the biomancer. Take your own fucking advice, Penelope grumbles without looking up. Penelope, it's me, I say. Can't I see something? Oh, Vita. Yes, by all means. Just stay out of my way. The other hunters glance at each other and let me through. Nobody questions a biomancer in a medical ward, except maybe another biomancer. I circle around to the other side of the comatose body, pulling up a chair and carefully, oh so carefully, sending a tentacle in to prod at the broken soul. It's so weak I almost chip a piece off even from casually brushing it. I didn't even know a soul could get damaged from incidental contact. I can remove this effortlessly. I don't, of course, but I can. Leave us, please, Penelope says, turning to the other 3 hunters. You're distracting me. They look quite irritated at that, but that's Penelope for you. The one who stopped me has a soft, white soul that makes me think about a cake full of swords. Dangerous, yet fluffy and sweet outside that. I like him immediately, though I can't say the same for his 2 teammates. A short, dark-skinned man scowls my way with a soul so hot I suspect he's either got a thermomancy talent, a bad temper, or both. The 3rd hunter and only woman of the trio glares at me with thin eyes, but I don't get the impression that it's personal. It's just her face. Her soul, though, is like a dark whirlpool, a bitter pit of power and resentment. How did such a nice-seeming man get stuck with 2 nasty grumps like these? Is it all right if we wait outside? The white-souled guy asks. You're welcome to, Penelope grunts. But I'm not going to be waking her up to interrogate her anytime soon. I will need at least a day to get food and water into her system before large-scale biomancy is even remotely safe. I can tell it's a lie, but he nods anyway and the 3 of them depart. Penelope starts waving her fingers around, and soon I hear the telltale dampening of sounds that I recognize as a silence bubble. Since when can you cast this? I ask, impressed. Since yesterday, Penelope grunts. Though I technically don't have a kinemancy license, so let's make this quick. You see something odd? I nod. Yeah, her soul's been fucked up like nothing I've ever seen before. Let me guess, you can't wake her up even if you wanted to? Penelope snorts. Ugh. Damn your license. You're correct, Of course. Medically, she's very weak but not deathly starving. I got her fluids up so it should be safe to wake her. She just won't. Yeah, I'm surprised she's even alive. I've never seen a soul like this. But I think it's repairing itself. I hadn't stopped peering at the woman's soul while everyone else talked, and sure enough I do see the soul regrowing. Which hardly seems fair. My revenants lose soul strength over time, but living people gain it. It makes sense, though, and matches what I know. The soul helps the body grow if it's stronger, and the body helps the soul grow when it's stronger. Both body and soul are horridly weak in this woman, but her soul is at the clear disadvantage. Still, I wouldn't be surprised if a soul this full of holes can't even think. I continue. It barely feels human like this. Penelope nods, thinking. When do you think she'll wake up? I shrug. No idea. At this rate her soul won't be whole again for months, but she might not need the whole thing to be awake? Can you speed up the repair somehow? I don't think so. Unless you want me to kill her first. Penelope hums thoughtfully. Oh shit, she's seriously thinking about it. That was a joke, I clarify. Doesn't mean it's a bad idea, but you're right. It's probably not worth the risk in this case. I can try something I just learned today? I hedge. I don't think living things can absorb soul dust, but she's halfway in the grave anyway. Penelope shakes her head, though. Not if you aren't confident in it. A slow but steady recovery is much preferable to experimenting on a patient. Who is this lady anyway? I ask. What the hell happened to her? She is a hunter named Fulvia, Penelope informs me. Her team was sent to one of the Vigor drop sites. They were presumed all dead, but Penelope gestures to the patient. You win the bet, by the way. It was X. Alan's team found her alive, held captive by one of the things that hatched from them. It was reportedly sapient. I shudder. Holy shit. Just the idea of another soul-eating monster running around fills me with dread. There's just something that feels imminently more threatening about that than anything else I've ever come across. I hope I never have to get anywhere near those things. You'd best prepare yourself, by the way, Penelope continues. I'd give 10 to 1 odds that you're going to be part of the team that goes after it. Of course. Chapter 60. So you're telling me that this little girl, who has barely been a hunter for a few months, is the longest range scout you have? She's the longest range scout we have available, yes. As I'm sure you know, most of our teams are scouting the other Vigor sites. What she lacks in experience, however, I assure you she makes up for in raw talent. Oh yeah. What's your range, kiddo? I glower up at Matteo, the thermomancer that's part of the team who rescued Fulvia. Just as Penelope predicted, the branch leader put my name forward as the scout to go after the spooky monster that got away. If that wasn't bad enough, I'm now being berated over it by people who don't even know me. Assholes. I can sense relative danger level at 450 yards, I say. At least if I focus. Passively, I'm confident in my ability to pick up anything noteworthy in 250. Matteo raises his eyebrows at that, letting out a low whistle. She's got a fucking zero on you, Netta, he says, turning to his companion. You might have to step up your game. The glowering archer snorts. But can you fight? She asks. My talent allows me to kill anything near me with a low enough magic resistance, I admit. So I excel against swarms. I'm a middling combatant against larger or more powerful opponents, though. She nods thoughtfully. We did get rid of most of the big stuff already. I still don't think a rookie team should be going anywhere near the Vigor drops, though. Especially for a potential rescue mission. The hunters and the branch leader continue to argue, while I go back to standing silently nearby. The conversation is apparently about who should be sent where. The branch leader wants Alan, Netta, and Matteo to head for a different Vigor drop site where yet more hunters have failed to return. The three of them want to go back and finish the job on the monster that got away. Along with a longer range scout to accompany them. Either way, I'd be going towards the soul-eating monster, so I have a hard time caring whether it's with the experts I don't know or the rookies I do. Yes, I do get the irony of being afraid of a soul-eating monster. Eventually, the argument ends in the branch leader's favor. The three that returned with Fulvio would be going on a different mission. My team, plus a senior hunter to be determined, will be going after the Hiveric monster. Possibly within the next few hours, meaning that I can't even go home to say goodbye. Typical. I hope I don't piss off Sky by missing that follow-up meeting with him, since that's supposed to be tomorrow, I think. Can you gather your team for me, Vita? The branch leader asks. I nod wordlessly and set off to do exactly that. Easy enough, since I can feel where all of them are, the training yard. All of them except Penelope, of course, so I go to grab her first. I find her where I left her in the medical ward, reading a book with a bored expression on her face while she sits next to Fulvia's unconscious body. Hey, Penny, I greet her. Don't call me Penny, she shoots back automatically, turning a page. Well? Was I right or was I right? You were right, I smirk. But you're coming too. She snorts, snapping her book shut. Well, they are desperate for hunters, aren't they? Poor Jeremy. He's going to be the only biomancer left in the damn building. I don't know who Jeremy is, so I instantly forget him. Well, anyway, the boss man wants me to gather our team up. Penelope nods. I'll join you shortly. Policy is to have someone on duty in here at all times, and Jeremy is out eating lunch. I shrug, heading for the training yard. It feels like Nora and Bentley are going ham with their talents, and I'm curious to see what they're up to. Orville, meanwhile, is sitting around and channeling a fuckton of mana. Ha! I walk onto the grass, watching Nora and Bentley beating the shit out of each other in full armor. Well, it's probably more accurate to say they're beating the shit out of each other's weapons. Bentley swings as hard as he can with Nora swinging her own blade at his to intercept it. I'm pretty sure that's terrible form, though. Won't she break her weapon that oh, right. Reinforce. Still, talent or no, she's going to break Bentley's weapon. I don't interrupt them while they're sweating it out, though, heading over to bother Orville instead. He's sitting with his eyes closed, sweat beading on his forehead as he pulls in more and more mana. I plant a smarmy grin on my face and nudge him with a boot. He keeps his focus, to his credit. I thought you said channeling mana non-stop was insane, I taunted him. It is, he grumbles, eyes still closed. But the more I think about it, the more I get why she does it anyway. I'm obviously not going to be doing this in a fight or something, but, goo. Orville's soul does the spiritual equivalent of a sneeze and he grimaces, fingers quickly flashing out a cancel spell to let the energy dissipate. He coughs, drops of red splattering onto the back of his hand. Oh shit, did I break his concentration and accidentally fuck him up? Whoa. Sorry, let's get you to Penelope? We've got a mission coming up, I'm supposed to gather you all. Yeah. Ugh. That figures. I should be fine, I don't think I got hit by anything a biomancer can't treat. Is she in the medical ward? Yeah, I confirm, watching him stagger away. I'll have to make sure to keep track of him until he makes it there okay. I agree with his assessment, at least. I didn't feel like much more than a hiccup, but Orville's soul, like most males, floats around his chest area. Considering he coughed up blood, that hiccup may have been at a lung. Penelope has healed much worse than minor lung trauma, but without a biomancer on hand. If a wound like that went untreated, I've seen people die from much less. Note to self, don't start training mana channeling without Penelope. I guess I could just move my own soul out into my hand or something, but I don't really want to lose a hand either. A loud clang rings out through the yard, signifying the end of Nora and Bentley's fight as he knocks her sword clean out of her hand. Yes. He cheers, pumping his axe triumphantly up and down. This means nothing. Nora gasps, falling to the ground to rest. A win is a win. Bentley insists. But Nora, your talent is awesome. My axe isn't even chipped. I thought Nora could only reinforce things she's touching, I say, approaching the both of them. Yeah, that's how it fucking used to be. Nora pants proudly, taking off her helmet to flash a grin. I finally figured it out. It's hard as balls and I can't keep it up for long, but I figure, fuck, if you can do it, why can't I? Reinforce at range, baby. I'm gonna make us into invincible kings and queens. Yes. Nora is going to be the best. Bentley agrees happily, offering her a hand to get up. You just need more stamina. You shut up about that. Nora laughs, accepting his arm and pulling herself to her feet. I've never seen you sweat in your life. We've got a new assignment, I tell them both, smiling a little at their banter. The branch head wants to see everybody. Damn, no rest for the wicked, Nora complains. You go on ahead, Bentley, I'll catch up. All right. The big luck agrees happily. See you there, Nora. See you there, Vita. He bounds off. As usual, the dude reminds me of a huge, happy dog. Nora watches him go, grinning appreciatively. Damn, but that is one dumb hunk, she says, stretching out her back. You like him or something? I ask. Watch his eyes, do I? Nora answers immediately. I wanna fuck him so bad. Shame he's head over heels for Orville. Huh? I comment. Really? Well, sucks for you I guess. She laughs and claps me on the back. Brutal, girl, brutal. Learn to let a girl down easy, would you? You're not wrong, though. It sucks for Orville too. Dude could not be less interested. Sounds complicated, I complain. How can you even tell this kind of stuff? She glances down at me, shrugging. Well, I care, I guess. Have you not noticed how much of a puppy Bentley is around the guy? I huff out a breath, not really wanting to think about it. Bentley is always a puppy. Just warn me if you're going to indulge your carnal urges in our room, okay? I'll hang a sock on the doorknob. Promise. Okay. I don't know how that's going to help if I'm 400 yards away, but it's certainly a thing you can do, I guess. Nora blinks in confusion for a moment as I start to return to the branch leader's office, though she quickly catches up with me. Wait, so, you mean like, avoid it? Like why avoid it? So can you feel? I let out an exasperated sigh. Are we really talking about this? Yes. I don't get any details or anything, thankfully, but, yes. It's pretty easy to tell when two people are going at it in my range. Why else would two people be bouncing around on top of each other or in other positions? It's doubly easy and doubly disgusting when it's someone I know and I can interpret the soul patterns. Nora, however, to my mounting irritation, absolutely lights up at this knowledge. Oh my God, Vita, you have got to give me the dirt. I, in fact, do not. And I'm also not going to. Vita, come on. You could take one lap around the rich district and blackmail half the government. I hauled in my tracks. Oh shit, I probably could. How much do I have to pay you to never, ever tell Penelope that? I ask seriously. That gets Nora cackling so hard that she actually bends over to slap her knee. I don't see the humor, personally. The only thing of value I've gotten out of the constant background annoyance is a question. I'm pretty sure souls don't enter the body at conception, so where do they come from and when? My best guess is that it happens at some point during pregnancy. Women with big old bellies often have an extra soul inside them. The first time I felt someone like that I thought I'd found a damn Nora. Unborn baby souls are almost always tiny and pure black. Raw, flavorless soul stuff, yet to be given a unique form. Every so often I'll see dots of color or texture inside. Perhaps that indicates the child will have a talent, or perhaps it's something else entirely. As of now, I have no way to know. Nora and I join Bentley in the branch leader's office, with Penelope and Orville arriving soon afterwards. He starts giving the overview of what our mission will be, where we'll be going, and so forth. It's a job that Remus used to do for us, but I haven't seen him since we got back to Skyhope. The job is pretty simple. Our primary goal is search and rescue, and our secondary goal is killing every Hiveric monster we come across. We memorize as much terrain information as we can, taking in the reports from the previous team and forming our strategy around them. There's just one element that's unaccounted for. You said you'll be sending a senior hunter with us, right? I asked the branch leader. Who is it? Ah, yes. Well, they should be here shortly. I frown, searching around my range for strong souls nearby that I recognize. Sure enough, someone is on their way. I thought Siong was retired, I comment. Penelope raises an eyebrow while the rest of my team just doesn't recognize the name. The branch leader chuckles, though his apparent mirth is all fake, not reflected in his soul in the slightest. I can hardly blame him. The portly, middle-aged man is in charge of putting hunters in the right places, after all, and the number of teams failing to return from their missions has been rapidly rising since the Hiveric egg drops. The poor guy is doubtlessly stressed out of his mind. They unretired, and frankly they couldn't have picked a better time, he answers. I doubt Siong has gotten rusty in the interim. Your team should be in good hands. I have to agree. A poison expert could be exactly what we need to deal with the magic-resistant or huge targets that our team struggles with. We'd otherwise rely on Bentley to take on bigger threats, but despite the fact that he is the second biggest soul on the team, he's still somehow our worst fighter. Although, after this mission, I'll probably be second biggest. Everyone on my team is growing and becoming stronger, but I'm growing faster than everyone else by a mile. I smile a little at the thought, stretching my tentacles in anticipation. All I have to do is not get eaten. Simple enough, right? Chapter 61 Lark. You know, if you want, I could heal you as well. I glance up from my meal, looking at my Claretta with confusion. What is she talking about all of a sudden? I can heal myself, I point out, leaning back over to take another bite. Well, what if you're stuck without food? Or you get hurt extra badly? I lift my shoulders up and down to indicate I'm indifferent to the idea while I swallow. Then you can heal me. That's fine. No, I can't, Lark, my Claretta says. I'll have to teach you to lower your magic resistance first. I take another large bite, more than a little confused about what all that meant. I am not eating my Claretta, though I should soon. Her limbs have almost grown back to elbows and knees. But first, I have to finish figuring out how my body functions. I'm not stupid. I've noticed I tend to pick up traits from creatures I eat a lot of. I can't control which traits I pick up, though, or at least I don't seem to be able to control it. I can, however, control my diet. Moving to another part of the forest was risky, but I've managed to set up another home for myself and my Claretta. Many other things surround us, and they are much larger and more aggressive than the nest weavers which had made up so much of my diet before they were replaced by the fulvia. Now, without the fulvia to be my meal, I'm back to inferior creatures. Out of them all, I've decided to hunt what my Claretta calls catsels. Slightly larger than I am, these four-legged furry creatures are sleek pack hunters with exceptional hearing and speed, the latter of which is of particular interest. Chewing on them for days has improved my mobility significantly, as well as given me claws on the ends of my fingers and toes, which are a welcome compromise between human hands and the bladed nest weaver forelimbs I previously possessed. Much less useful is how my ears have slowly moved to the top of my head, getting all triangular and fuzzy. Catsel fur is brownish, blending in with the dirt and trees of the area, but as usual even the parts of my body copied from other living things end up in inky, all-consuming black. It's convenient at night, I suppose, but the vast majority of the time is day. Either way, catsels are phenomenally fast, and they have the agility needed to make sharp turns at those speeds. At first I could not catch them in my webs, as they can somehow detect and avoid them at the last second. There is a limit to how sharply they can turn, however. And since discovering that, I have been collecting them by the dozens. The more I eat, the faster I manifest their attributes. What is magic resistance? I ask once my current meal struggles its last. It's, How well you resist magic, my Claretta answers rather uselessly. Yours is too high, and I can't get through it. You said those things already, I complain. What is resisting magic? It makes spells cast on you not work, lark. I scowl. Mine can't be that good then. I got burned by that fire guy. You said that was magic, right? Yes, but it wasn't magic cast on you, my Claretta clarifies. When a thermomancer throws flames at you, they cast their magic on an area nearby to produce the flames. By the time it reaches you, it's not magic anymore. Just heat. Your magic resistance would only apply if they tried to cook you from the inside. So you can't cast on me because all your magic is on my insides. Fulvia tried to get you to stop, though. You healed her anyway. Well, something you did to her weakened her magic resistance. Wait, you understood us back then? No, I grumble. I remember what you said, though, so I understand it now. Anyway, I do not need healing. I want your... I don't know the word for it, so I pantomime aiming and firing the ranged weapon that my Claretta and the Netta used. The one that the Netta pierced death with. My Claretta doesn't answer for a while, which is fine by me since I have time to finish off my capsule and move to the next one. I can't show you how to make her fire a bow without arms, lark, my Claretta eventually says. I scowl at her, thinking on that. I haven't really been eating her lately anyway. She has become more like a flower than a capsule. Rings of flowers are planted all around her, in fact, carried here by me whenever I find one I like. A different sort of pleasure than food, one that doesn't sharply vanish the moment after it arrives. Something my Claretta and I made together. I'd like to make a bow with her as well. Okay, I say. I'll stop eating you. You can regrow your arms. Legs too, if you want. There's a moment of silence before I notice my Claretta let out a shaky, slow breath. I glance her way between bites, noticing that eye water coming out of her face again. Curiously, I finish off my meal before plodding over to her, curling up on her chest as I so often do. Claretta? I ask. What are you doing? Thank you, lark, she blubbers. Thank you. What does that mean? I ask. I've never heard that word before. She chuckles a little, though it comes out as a series of chokes. More eye water stuff. It makes me worried for some reason. Is it stopping her from breathing right? I hope she'll be okay. When you thank someone, lark, you show them appreciation. You thank someone when they do something nice for you. Oh, okay, I murmur. So why are you leaking water out of your face? You've done that a few times. That either means I'm sad, or it means I'm happy. Aren't those opposites? That's kind of confusing, isn't it? Ugh, humans. You're not going to die, though. Another strained chuckle. No, lark. I think I'll actually be okay. Well, that's good. I settle into a comfortable torpor, enjoying the rise and fall of my bed as my Claretta's breathing starts to stabilize once again. She'll be okay. She'll grow her limbs back and teach me more things. Maybe we'll hunt together, maybe I'll let her cook the bodies like she keeps asking about. Yeah. That could be fun. She's more than a meal. More than a flower, even. I can't replace her. There's only one. It would be nice if she could come with me when I'm hunting away from home. I'm sure she'd like that too. Time passes as we rest until eventually one of my long-distance webs shakes and goes slack, signaling that something broke it. I grumble softly, quite comfortable on top of my Claretta's sleeping form. If I leave now she'll probably wake up before I get back, and I'll miss the start of her songs. Still, I have to make sure nothing dangerous is headed our way. Regretfully, I rise, rubbing my eyes as I plod on over to follow the thread. It isn't long before I hear the voices, and terror fills me. Where's it at now? Still heading this? No, it just stopped. I think it heard you. Humans. Oh, no. Are they here to take my Claretta like they took the Fulvia? Will they be prey, or will they be death? It stopped. Another voice asks. If it hurt us it wouldn't stop. Unless it's our target. Or something like it. Target. I don't know that word, but it has a dangerous feel to it. Should I just run? Turn around, grab my Claretta, get out of here? No. I just built my new territory. I don't want to leave again. I want to capture the humans. They are so delicious, and so interesting. They are like nest weavers or catsels in that they all look the same and work together, but they're also like my kind in that each one of them is a vastly different threat. Maybe these would be dangerous, but I can tell by their voices they aren't the death-slaying humans. My lips curl upwards. I hope I can eat them. I resume my slow track forward, layering more and more traps around the area as I approach, because why not? Even if they can break the webs, by forcing them to break a web I stack the fight that tiny bit more in my favor, buying myself that tiny bit of extra time. It all matters, when death is on the line. Should I try talking to them again? I guess it was fun the first time, and they already know I'm here. So why not? What's a target? I ask a few traps later. I'm close enough to track them by sound now, so it seems safe enough. They stop moving. By their footsteps I count 5 of them. No, 6? If there's 6, the 6th is more than a little difficult to hear. Are you Lark? A voice hisses, calm and sure. Yeah. I confirm, surprised. How did you know that? I haven't told you my name. Watch his eyes, it sounds like one of your sisters, Vita. Don't fucking say that, what I assume is the Vita answers. Answer my question, please, I insist. My Claretta says people like it when you say please after demanding something. Well, those weren't her exact words, but that's what I got from it. The last people to come here told us your name, the hissy voice says. Oh, wow. Why didn't I think of that? These humans must come from the same place. They can talk to each other. So, have you all seen Fulvia? I ask, starting to slowly circle around them as I build more and more webs. They stole her, you know. She's mine. Fulvia is not yours, the hissing voice responds. You ate her. You tortured her. You nearly killed her. None of those things mean she is not mine, I growl. None of those things mean she is yours either, the hiss counters. How about you come out here where we can see you, and we'll have a chat. I got attacked the last time I did that, I point out. Do any of you have fire? I hate fire. The hissy one lets out a wheezing chuckle. I hate fire too, actually. No, none of us have fire. Oh, awesome, an actually sane human. Plus, if they can't burn through my webs, they are going to be way easier to capture and eat. What do you want to talk about? I ask, continuing to build my traps. She's circling around, the Vita reports. Probably making more webs. Also, I want to amend my threat assessment higher. Understood, Vita. Lark, I want to talk about you. Your species. What you're doing here. Would you like to talk about any of that? Sure, I guess, I answer, unconcerned. It sounds kind of fun, actually. I like talking. I usually only get to talk with Claretta. She's alive? A new voice asks, deeper than the others by quite a margin. Of course she is, I snap. I won't let her die. Finishing my circle, I approach through the brush and poke my head out, spotting the humans in a decently sized clearing, or at least what passes for a clearing with the tree canopy choking out light from above. Most of them spot me immediately but none of them attack, so I step the rest of the way out of the brush, standing up straight. The humans are all quite interesting. There's a soft-looking one, there's a huge one covered in chitin that I know isn't part of its actual body, another tall one with a huge sharp thing who smells extra tasty, one hiding up in a tree with a bow that's difficult to hear or smell, a shorter one with a funny thing around its neck, and finally the shortest one of all. That one smells very strange, like the other humans in some ways but in others, it isn't like them at all. Whenever I look at it, my eyes keep flicking to its sides, trying to catch movement that I sense but do not see. A mix of expressions are visible on their faces, but the only one I really recognize or comprehend is from the strange short one, fear and fury, fight or flight. It's a state I know quite well, both in myself and my prey. Shit, the armored one whispers. I didn't expect the limiter to be cute. Cute? I ask. I don't know that word either. Interesting morphology, the soft one mutters to itself. I wonder how much of it was beforehand and how much is a result of diet. And the skeletal structure. Keep your comments to yourselves, snaps Neck Frills, who is apparently also the hissy one. Lark, do you know why you and your kind are here? I don't understand the question, I answer. I've been here since I hatched, which is forever. Do you have any goals? Objectives? To live with Claretta and eat good food, I respond. Like you guys. Like us. You plan to eat us? The hissy one presses. I give it a flat look. Of course. Do you guys not eat each other? Haven't you figured out how delicious you are yet? You can't eat someone just because they taste good, the shortest one growls. Apparently that one is the Vita, by the voice. It's also demonstrably wrong, so I ignore it. Lark, the hissy one presses, once again ignoring my question. Are there any others of your kind that are intelligent? Any others that speak? I don't know, I respond with a shrug. Maybe, but none that I've seen. They're all stupid, they just run at whatever's closest and don't even taste very good. It lets out a raspy sigh and responds, glancing back at the other humans for a moment before speaking again. Okay. Executive decision time. Lark, I want you to come with us. We'll ask you more questions and poke at you a bit, but you'll be safe, and we'll give you plenty of food. No, the Vita protests immediately. Bad idea, Seong. Really, Vita? The Seong asks. This from the girl who tried to negotiate with brain parasites? Vita did what now? How much of the food will be humans? I ask. None of it, the Seong hisses. You won't be allowed to eat any more humans. Well, in that case, no, I answer frankly. You're my favorite. The alternative is death, the Seong insists. Come with us, or get killed by us here. I take a deep breath, tensing my muscles. They don't smell that tough. Seong, the squishy one murmurs. I'm a no-go on offense. Then support, Penelope. Come on, Lark. We can help each other. Or, I retort, lips curling back to reveal black, curved teeth, I can help myself. I pick my first target and lunge. The humans spring into action, weapons swinging my way all at once. I haven't been sitting around and waiting for food to fall into my traps, though. I've been proactively consuming each and every good meal I come across, amassing as much strength as I can as fast as I can. 6 humans against me at once? What do I care? I'm stronger, I'm smarter, and lately I've become much faster. My teeth sink into flesh, and the battle begins. Tope continued. Thanks for listening.